Hello everyone, and welcome back to my channel, Bow and Arrow Tarot. Today we're going to take a look at the weekly reading for August 25th to the 31st for the sign of Capricorn. Alright guys, let's get right into it. We're going to get your angel messages out for the week. We have calling in your soulmate. We have make the effort. And we have release your ex. Now, I know these are romance angel cards, but these readings for the week are actually general readings because we're talking about love, life, and career. We do I'm going to be pulling out multiple forecasts for the week, right? So they may not all be specifically about relationships. And oftentimes these messages can also relate to other interactions that we have with people. Not all relationships are love relationships, but our life is still based on relationships, whether they be at work or social groups and business, right? There's still forms of relationships with people. So this is just to say that this may not only be about your love connection. You can check out the soulmate readings for those. Most of them are up. I'm going to be putting the rest of those up after I'm done with the weeklies. But let's get right into pulling out your animal spirit for the week, Capricorn. We're going to pull out 3 animal spirits just to see what you may or may not be walking with or the people that you're dealing with. We have, let's get them right side up. We have the fish. Came out earlier this week for one of the signs as well. Very slippery. Loves to roam. Starfish, water energy. Both of them are water energy, of course. And then we have earth energy spider. All right. So before we get into your spread, we're going to go ahead and take a quick look at these animal spirits. The fish loves to roam and be part of the current. It's a water element animal spirit. So we're talking about a person who enjoys interactions with a lot of different people. It can be a lot of fun to interact with a lot of different people, have a lot of different emotional connections with individuals, right? The problem with that, though, sometimes you can have very slippery relationships as a result of it, right? You can have very non-committal connections, relationships that fall apart. All right, it can be fun to be out there flirting and enjoying life, right? But there comes a point in time when you realize that you've foregone the deeper connections for the sake of always being on the move, always wanting something new, right? So you want to take, it's not necessarily a warning, but it is an admonishment with fish energy to take care not to be too free roaming for too long, lest you neglect the relationships that require your attention. Starfish energy is also water energy, but the starfish is absolutely consumed with the outer shell, looking pretty, being the center of attention, very, very shallow here. But the problem with that, of course, with the starfish is that there's always a deeperness, right? A deeper essence to all of us, and the starfish as well. So take care. This card comes into our lives at a time when we are forgoing our deeper calling for the sake of a more shallow sort of endeavor, right? There's a deeper side to you. There's a deeper essence to who you are, no matter how surface you may be feeling right now, or you may be living your life. Don't forgo the deeper side of yourself for the sake of just being, the outer, how you look, how you appear, how you present yourself to people, the mask that you may wear, the fact that you're popular, are you a star, too much of that, and you miss out on knowing who you really are and letting the deeper, more important, I would say, side of yourself out. Spider is earth energy, and then spider takes great care to create a web for its family and the ones that it loves, right? It's very smart in thinking ahead, planning ahead, to prepare in a way to be supportive. It is physically supportive and spiritually supportive to its children, its family, and the people that it loves, right? So spider energy is very, very nice. It's very practical energy, very wise, forward-thinking, Very creative also. The spider can come up with very creative means by which to support themselves and their people. Usually somebody who identifies with spider energy, you'd call them a bit of a hustler. You know, they can always find a way to get what they need for the family, even if they're not working. You know what I'm saying? That kind of energy. It's very positive. So let's get right into it, Capricorn, and see what your spread is for the week. We're going to pull out about 6 or 8, anywhere from 6 to 8, 3-card spreads to look at the various scenarios you may be going through this week, Capricorn. And I do hope this resonates with you. Please take what resonates, and what doesn't resonate, just be happy to throw it away. These are general readings that we already know they can't possibly be for every Capricorn out there. All right? So I just hope that they are representative of most of the Capricorns who may be tuning into this video today. We have 5 of Cups, 5 of Wands, and Knight of Pentacles. Wow. Okay, here we go. 5 is the number for power struggle, right? In all of the 5s of the suit, we see power struggle. 5 of Cups, we talk about a power struggle within us, really. The struggle to let go of misery and look to the future. That's an internal struggle that we have. All right, and so this is still consistent with the number 5, the meaning of the card. Looking to the past, right? Struggling to turn your gaze away from the last 3 relationships that may not have done so well for the sake of seeing the new relationships or possibilities that are on the horizon. 5 of Cups reminds us that not everything will always be as it was before. Okay, there is always a chance for a different kind of way, a different type of a relationship, a better relationship. And so don't despair. 5 of Wands, we're talking about a real one-upmanship. Here we talk about another power struggle, but this is with those around you. This can be a creative power struggle, a power struggle in terms of the mind, in terms of your ambition as well, your identity, your ego. The wand is associated with the ego, right? With fire, with sexual momentum and passion. So when we have 5 of Wands, we talk about just really being at odds with people around you. You may be bickering a lot. This could be with people at work, right? This could be at home. Right now, you're just feeling you're feeling quite a lot of aggro. You know, in England we call it aggro. You know, and we don't really have a way in America to say it that really translates, right? But all my English watchers will recognize that. It's like you just got a lot of aggro going on everywhere. You know what I mean? And it's just a pain in the ass. And you're also kind of pissed off about your relationships. You're feeling like if you just had a decent relationship, you know, you could cope with all the stress at work. So then you're also getting into your head about the past relationships that you've had and how they've kind of slipped through your fingers or fallen apart. And through all of this, I think you decide that perhaps it's time for you to concentrate on your career. And I think you begin to embody the Knight of Pentacles at the end of the week, Capricorn. It's time for you to kind of set off on your own path, right? Leave the aggro behind, leave the relationships that are causing you consternation behind, and leave the misery of failed relationships behind. Perhaps it's time for you to pay more attention to yourself and your abundance, your career, right? And so in this way, I want to say that this week you come to a decision after all of this to embody the Knight of Pentacles and move forward with your own kind of prosperity. 8 of Swords, 8 of Cups, and the Hermit. Wow. Okay, Capricorn. 8 is the number for boundaries, strengths and weaknesses, right? Restrictions that equate to disciplining ourselves, right? So we 8 of Swords, we see somebody who alienates themselves by the way they act and behave, and their outdated mode of thinking, their very restricted mode of thinking, right? This is represented by the swords. These are ideas that we hold on to that are restrictive. They're not expansive. They alienate you from those around you. And then you find yourself kind of, you know, this is the person who pisses everybody off at the party with what they're saying because they're opinionated. They may be a little bit bigoted, or they may harbor really old-fashioned ideas. They may be very rude, right? And their insistence on being this way alienates them, and then they complain about the fact that nobody talks to them. Okay, this is the gaslighter. This is the victimizer. This is the one who plays the victim card. All right, the figure on the card is bound. This person is bound themselves by the way that they act, right? And so in this way, this is also consistent with the number 8. They are bound by their own restrictedness of their thinking, and they don't understand the need for boundaries in relationships, right? And so in this way, we have a dissonance in the card, which is usually the case with swords. This could be somebody in your life who's acting this way, and they're trying to play on your feelings, right? You're making a decision, Capricorn, to move on from this. And here we have 8 of Cups. This could very well be somebody that you've been involved with for a very long time, and you've had enough of their victim game, right? You've had enough of their gaslighting. You've tried to talk sense to them. They won't listen. They blame you, you know. And so you turn your back on this. And this is interesting how we can then flip to the 8 of Cups, which is a very different side of the same coin. Again, here, though, the figure has finally decided it is time to put boundaries in place in our relationships, right? We need boundaries. We need criteria for people to fulfill before we allow them to get close to us. We need to understand what our weaknesses are and what our strengths are. If our weakness is people who play on our feelings, then a strength is to make an intention to be away from those type of people. Do you understand what I mean? And so in this way, we learn about our strengths and our weaknesses, which is also inherent in 8, the number 8, and associated with 8. But the character now, and you yourself, Capricorn, you turn your back and you decide to employ this now in your relationships, to put boundaries in place. And in this way, you ascend. And so you're ascending to a higher level of engagement. You decide that you no longer want this kind of relationship. You want a relationship that's built on higher ideals, that kind of, I want to say, fulfills a higher standard for you of engagement. And all of this is also part of a very spiritual journey that you may have just most recently undertaken, as evidenced by the Hermit card. You decide that maybe it is better to be alone or on your own for a while, and maybe walk the spiritual path, get a bit deeper into your own spiritual side, because you've learned something here with the 8 of Cups about putting boundaries in place. And so you realize that you've learned a very big spiritual lesson as well. And I think that gives you also a desire to move forward on that path. All of this comes very apparent for some of you this week. We have Queen of Pentacles, Moon energy, and we have the Fool. Oh, wow. Okay, so the Queen of Pentacles is a beautiful queen. She's one of my favorite queens because the Queen of Pentacles comes from nothing. She has built up all of her own abundance. She is the queen of blood, sweat, and tears. You can see how she gazes at her pentacle as if it's a baby. She sits in a garden of green, of creativity. And so in this way, she's highly creative on a lot of levels. A lot of people mistakenly only associate pentacles with money, which is a huge mistake. It's associated with the material realm, which includes our body, our well-being, our physical well-being. Of course, it includes money and monetary things, but it also includes the fact that we are physical beings. We live on a physical plane. And so in this way, the Queen of Pentacles takes care of all of that. She's learned how to take care of her body, how to nourish herself. Okay, and she's learned also how to share this wisdom with others. She's very giving of her support to others who want to follow their own path. She's very supportive in terms of her, she's very generous, right? If she's reached a certain level of real wealth and abundance, because you can't be a Queen of Pentacles and not have an extreme amount of wealth. But if she has, then she will be very generous with it. And I think some of you Capricorns are identifying with Queen of Pentacles this week. However, you are coming into a very unknown territory. It could be that you've been dealing with finances for so long, and kind of your physical well-being and the very practical, real side of life, but you're kind of embarking on a path of emotion most recently. You may have met somebody, or you may have had some kind of epiphany or some kind of experience, and it's really opened up a side of you emotionally that has been unknown to you up until now. This could be, you may have suddenly felt a feeling that you hadn't felt since you were a child. An emotion perhaps that you hadn't felt since you were a child. We're talking about emotions here that we can't really describe in words, that you can only feel. And this feeling of this emotion has really kind of like set you back. It's really made you feel kind of like, wow, you know, what's happening here? And it almost has opened up this new path for you, because the Fool is showing up as well. So this is like a new path, I want to say, of emotional and perhaps even spiritual kind of exploration that has just most recently come about as either a connection with someone. You may have had a bit of deja vu somewhere. Something like this has happened. And you have moon energy just reverberating in you right now, Capricorn. And being such a earthy sign yourself, and also associating with Queen of Pentacles, this seems to be like a real bolt out of the blue. Seven of Cups, King of Pentacles, Six of Pentacles. Some of you are reevaluating your dreams. You're starting to realize that some of the wishes you had for yourself were perhaps a bit too shallow. Perhaps they were illusionary. You're starting to reevaluate what you have been thinking about, what in terms of what you want to be in life, what you want to associate with. A lot of you lately have been daydreaming as well. Seven of Cups rules the realm of daydreaming, fantasizing about relationships or things that you'd like to have, who you'd like to be. However, inherent in that daydreamy kind of essence, we have to be careful to kind of stay grounded. Sometimes we dream or believe we can be things we can't, or we daydream about having things that are very, very shallow and thinking that they will make us happy when in actuality they won't. This is a very heady kind of emotional trip. Some of you have been on this or you're feeling this way most recently. And I think you're coming across a King of Pentacles. You're coming across a King of Pentacles personality, probably somebody who's also very ambitious, maybe somebody you know in your career, somebody you know at work. This person has certainly established themselves in their field. They may have a certain amount of abundance, but I don't feel that that's necessary here. This is just somebody who has a very good reputation. They're very influential. All right, and they're coming into your life, and I think they're looking at you and wanting to buoy you up. This could be somebody who may want to be a benefactor. They may want to be a kind of teacher to you in some way, right? You know, someone who can show you. They want to take you kind of almost under their wing. They're looking at you and they want to see you grow. They want to see you reach to a certain level where you can also give knowledge away. It's interesting. Somebody may be trying to indoctrinate you or bring you into a particular group or philosophy. I'm talking about in business, right? They may be trying to headhunt you. They may try to recruit you. For some of you who are at work in high power positions, you could be getting headhunted. Somebody, in the sense that somebody could be you may have somebody coming specifically for you, offering you a job or a possibility of a promotion, something that is going to put you on a level of Six of Pentacles. Six of Pentacles is interesting. It's where you have a certain level of abundance, but you don't mind giving it away. Part of your abundance comes from charitable work. People know you to be charitable. You may be a humanitarian who works in the field of poverty or poverty eradication, things like that. Six of Pentacles inherently basically just talks about having a very harmonious relationship with money and wealth in the physical plane. Six is the number for journey to harmony. So in Six in Pentacles, we see somebody who has a very healthy association with their status. They're not haughty or egoistic. They're willing to give of themselves. And this is a very altruistic, humanitarian sort of energy. And this is quite interesting because this week, I think, for some of you in a career, a very certain specific kind of career, will be going through this. This is the last spread. We have Judgment, 5 of Pentacles, and 9 of Pentacles. All right, Capricorn. So Judgment, interestingly enough, some of you have most recently gone through a period of self-reflection where you're starting to let go of some of the judgments you've been putting on yourself. You've been letting go of some of the kind of like guilt maybe that you've been harboring for situations that haven't worked out the way you wanted them to work out, and you blamed yourself. It could be that you got information most recently that let some of this go for you as well. But interestingly enough, as a part of this, perhaps because of this realization, or perhaps this realization just preempted this 5 of Pentacles. 5 of Pentacles is a power struggle. Remember at the beginning of the spreads, we did have 2 5s. So far, I think almost all the 5s have shown up in this weekly read, Capricorn. So that indicates overall a lot of power struggles, right? And 5 of Pentacles is when you have a power struggle with someone that not only hurts you emotionally to a certain degree, but the most impactful part of it is that it hurts you financially. It causes you to have to pay the price financially. This could be losing out on a promotion, losing out on a job. This could be having an argument with a roommate and having that roommate move out on you, or you move out, having to move out, and now you have to come up with rent money that's more, or you have to pay all the rent yourself. You know, it's that kind of thing when you have an argument or some kind of struggle with someone, and ultimately it does not come out in your favor and you pay the price financially. Sometimes this can happen as a very kind of a clearing of negative obstacle way, in the sense that yes, it's quite painful, and in the short term, financially, it may hit you. But later on, oftentimes, when you go through a 5 of Pentacles, you'll realize that this was necessary for you to get away from a very toxic scenario, right? A very toxic environment, or to get away and move towards something that was much more meant for you, all right? But a lot of times, when we pull this card, we're in the throes of 5 of Pentacles, and it is can be quite devastating at times. And so you're kind of dealing with all of this right now. And I want to say that you have a 9 of Pentacles. So I believe that, you know, your stance is going to, and I'm going to say that this is probably the positive outcome that I'm talking about as the result of this, right? So I think that going through the 5 of Pentacles and also having this kind of moment of realizing that you are not always the only one to blame, letting go of a lot of judgment for yourself and a lot of guilt, I think you come to the conclusion of a 9 of Pentacles. 9 of Pentacles is also one of my favorite cards in the deck, very akin to Queen of Pentacles, in the sense that in 9 of Pentacles, we take care of ourselves. We ensure our own abundance. We take care of our bodies. We make sure, you know, you can see the character. She is in a garden that she has worked for, right? However, in 9 of Pentacles, we are very, very independent, fiercely independent, and we will quicker work towards our ambition and our career goals rather than be involved with someone, right? So oftentimes 9 of Pentacles can indicate somebody who's so career-minded or ambitious that they have had to kind of pay the price, or they've had to make sacrifice. I want to say they've had to sacrifice a love life, a connection with someone, a lot of friends, or a big social life, right? And so they find themselves alone. They find themselves enjoying a lot of this abundance on their own. This is a 9 card. 9 is Hermit in the Major Arcana. So all of the 9 cards inherently have a sense of aloneness in them. However, in this spread, the interpretation is that you choose for this, right? You choose for this. This is not something that you feel like you are being burdened by, or that you don't feel like it's a sacrifice, because I believe that some of you are coming from a place where when you've been dealing with other people, not only have you ended up hurt financially, but you've ended up hurt emotionally anyway, right? And so right now you choose to make this sacrifice for the sake of your career and increasing your abundance, and also maybe increasing your own self-confidence and rebuilding yourself after having gone through some of these power struggles in the past. And I think this is a very positive embodiment of this Nine of Pentacles right now, and I think that everybody should do that at certain times of their lives. Very much embody that independence and that need to rebuild yourself, repair yourself, revitalize yourself, re-nurture yourself, and increase your own level of abundance so that you can enjoy your life to the fullest. It's going to protect you in the future from having more Five of Pentacle moments. All right, guys. This is it. This is your reading for the week, August 25th to the 31st, excuse me, Capricorns. If you resonated with any part of this reading, please like the video, share it with your friends, other Capricorns you think may benefit from it. Please subscribe. It helps me grow my channel. You can hit that bell so you get notified of all my videos. Check out my soulmate readings. But for now, Capricorn, I love you so much. Thank you for coming by Bow and Arrow Tarot, and I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.